This is Karen Harrison. Welcome to Reiki Call. My website is www.karenharrison.net. We're glad that you are here. So today our topic is experience nature. Pretty excited about that. So to start off with that, we are going to do a grounding exercise that I like to do to connect to the earth. So let's stand up. And whatever Reiki symbols you have, whichever one you like, just draw it at your feet. And draw one over your head. And then we're going to bring earth energy up on an inhale, breathing all the way up to our crown. Exhale, send the energy down, all the way down and out your feet into the ground. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. And this time we're going to inhale up and out our crown, down to the ground. Okay, inhale up. Exhale out, down and around your aura, all the way to the ground, clearing your aura again. Exhale, clearing out, down to the ground, and again up. And out, down to the ground. Okay, now there's an Earth Star chakra that's just about 24 inches below your feet. So take your hands and intend to send Reiki into that Earth Star chakra. Filling it up with energy, helping you to feel very, very grounded and centered. Okay, and then come on back. And welcome Suzette and Keela Kutu. Okay, so what did you experience from that exercise? Did you feel some energy flowing into the ground?
It was like sucking the energy out of my feet into the ground, you know, not only from the hand, but also from my feet.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Anybody else want to share?
Yeah, I really like sharing with that Earth Star chakra. You said, is that what it was called? Earth? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That felt really good. I felt a lot of energy pulsating doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I just felt centered and grounded. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Just
Good.
good.
I felt very grounded. I felt like I was down into the, like below, or I feel that sensation.
Yeah. Well, I was reading about that in the Reiki News magazine, and so I started doing it about a week ago. I thought, okay, this is pretty cool. most of us need grounding because grounding helps us to feel calmer, more centered. It helps to still the mind. Sometimes when I work with people and I give them Reiki on the back of their head, one hand on each side of the brain, the right and the left hemisphere, I can feel how active their brain is, particularly the left brain, which is the logical, analytical brain. The right brain is the creative brain. And one woman that I gave Reiki to, he said, it feels like your left brain is doing jumping jacks. There was so much activity in it. And she said, wow, that's exactly how it feels to me. But it's best to have a calm brain because it just helps us to tap into our resources and creativity more easily. Okay, well, welcome whoever just joined us with the phone and 463. Can I put your name by instead of your phone number? Okay, well, I guess not. She disappeared. Okay, and welcome, Sherry. So we have, Earth Day coming up pretty soon this week on Friday. And one of the things that I have really been enjoying doing is working with the Earth energy in taking and teaching the ICRT Animal Reiki classes. It's very earth-based. Working with animals, working with nature. The course could have just as easily been titled Animal and Earth Reiki, because we are working with the spirit of the earth, which is Mother Nature. Mother Nature is its own divine being. It watches over all of the nature processes, the earth, the rain, the wind, and the water, everything that is going on. It talks about that in the Usui Holy Fire Reiki Master manuals. So one of the exercises that we do in Animal Reiki Master class is to use our earth-based animal symbol and send Reiki to something for 10 or 15 minutes. But we don't have to have Animal Reiki Master to do that. You can use any of your Reiki symbols and send Reiki to something in nature and connect. And when I've done this, I've sent Reiki to trees, and I've heard some really amazing messages from the trees because I'm more of an auditory person. A person who's more visual, might like see the aura of the tree. Like if you let your eyes kind of go soft and defocus a little bit, particularly if you look up towards where the branches meet the sky, you might be able to see an aura around the tree, which is just maybe like some soft fuzzy color, or it might look white, so that's pretty cool to look at a tree's aura. You could hold a crystal. Many people love crystals and rocks, and you might be more of a feeler. Maybe you would feel the energy of the rock. So be thinking about something that is close to you that you could send some Reiki to. In a few minutes, we'll be pausing the video. And, if you want, you can go outside and give Reiki to a tree. You could give Reiki to a house plant. You could give Reiki to a rock. I've got my electrical magnetic frequency blocking pyramid here. It's got a black tourmaline and some copper in it. I could give Reiki to that. I've got a beautiful redbud tree outside my window. So anything, from nature that you want to give Reiki to. So activate your symbols, whatever symbols you like, and your distance symbol to connect. And then just send Reiki for about 10 minutes and see what you notice, whether it's seeing, hearing, feeling, knowing, smelling. You know, this is a good time of year to smell unless you have seasonal allergies. You know, smelling all the flowering trees. Sorry, Christina, you probably still have snow in Alaska. Maybe you can smell the moose. Yeah. You know, see, smell, taste. You know, you can use all your senses to connect with nature. So we'll have you send Reiki for about 10 minutes, and then we'll have about 5 minutes for writing. And then and then we'll come back and share about our experiences. Yeah, Joe said he loves redbud trees, even though it blooms purple. Yeah, you're right. Who named that thing? Kind of crazy. And after my cataract surgery, the one eye sees the tree a different color than the other eye.
Really?
Yeah. Well, when I have the cataract surgery on the other eye, then they'll probably both see the same color. Okay, does anybody have any questions about this? Does everybody here have Reiki? Okay, all right. And if any of our listeners don't have Reiki, you know, you can connect with nature without Reiki. You don't have to have Reiki, you know, just intend to focus on some aspect of nature. And then we'll come back and share what you got. So it's 7:15 Central Time. So we'll come back at 7:30 and share our experiences. Okay. Would anyone like to share about your experience?
I'll go.
Okay.
So I have a number of houseplants around inside my house. And so I shared Reiki with them, and it was really interesting. Since I took the Animal Reiki 1 and 2 class, I have felt a lot more energy pulsing in my hands. And so when I went around to several plants, and it felt like, so I felt a lot of pulsing in my hands. I got really warm, and it almost felt like the energy of the plant was coming out to meet my hands. That was really cool, especially on the bigger ones that I have. And then I have some cuttings that I just put in water the other day, and they weren't as strong. So I feel they probably could use a little bit more Reiki. So I thought that was really interesting. I enjoyed doing that. I don't Reiki my houseplants often enough.
Yeah, good. Yes.
Better. I do.
Well, I bet they're saying thank you. Wonderful. Thanks. Yeah, Christina.
Okay, so I went ahead since we just moved here, and the person before had done a lot of damage actually to the ground. So I went ahead and Reiki the trees around me with a little amethyst. I had that in my hand also. And so for me, there was a whole lot of energy, like Susan said, in my hands. And my feet, they got very, very heavy to the ground. So very, very grounding. And then at the same time, I felt my solar plexus. There were like butterflies, a whole lot of energy. Very energetic, I wrote down here, and I heard very wise. The trees are. And then I felt like, and then all of a sudden, I felt like I was the tree, standing there with my arms out, you know, weeping in the wind, but very, very grounded in very, very calm energy after that. You know, so very, very calming. Yeah. So that's what I
Wow. Wow. And all of that in a 15-minute time.
Yeah. I think with all the Reiki, what you do with the Reiki on yourself, I do Reiki my plants, my food, my walk, my everything. There is a whole lot more things what also come in automatically, I think.
Yes. Yeah, it makes it all go quicker.
Mhm.
Wonderful. Thank you. Anyone else like to share?
I would.
Oh, yeah. Okay, Lucy, we'll do you
Went out-
next.
outside. Okay. Well, I went outside and we live in the wettest city in the US. It's been raining for nearly 2 weeks, off and on, especially during the night. But the rain let up for a while, and I have a tree right outside of my window here, and I just was expressing my gratitude for it. The birds land in it, and I was getting to know my yard. We've only been here a few months, and it was just a feeling of gratitude. I did.
Okay. Kind of cut out there. You said you had a feeling of gratitude for your tree.
Anyway, I just felt very blessed.
Uh-huh. Okay, thank you. Well, we missed some chunks of that, but I think you said gratitude and feel blessed by your tree.
Felt very blessed.
Okay, I think now we lost her. Okay. All right. Internet's going out. All right, well, thank you. Well, Lucy, what did you want to share?
I have this celestite crystal here.
Pretty.
It was given to me by an angelic energy healer and clairvoyant when I was in California. Before I left, she gave me this as a gift. And so I do use it when I meditate. So I decided to do this stone, and this thing is still really, really warm as I'm holding it. It is so warm. It's like almost like, when you have hot tea, it just feels so warm. But I had a lot of tingling and vibration, and I felt like someone was touching my lips. The stone has to do with connecting with angelic presence and divine guidance, but it was just really amazing how I felt so grounded and warm with this stone. And like I said, it's still really warm. It's amazing as I'm holding it.
Wow. Yeah, thank you.
Sure.
Okay, anybody else want to share?
Well, I have some seashells here.
Cool.
I found them on the beach in Vietnam on my last day. And the interesting thing about these seashells, the sea there is very thrifty, I would say. It doesn't really give anything to you. Like, I've never really found a seashell before. But on the last day, there was like a high tide coming. The waves were huge, and they were literally throwing things at me. And I found this big one and this one. I stepped on it, found it under my feet. It literally found me. So as I gave Reiki to it, wow, it felt like, I don't know, it may sound crazy. I felt like coming home. I don't know. Felt like coming home. I felt so much relaxation in my stomach, in my chest, in my arms. I felt that expansion and lots of very warm energy over my heart chakra. And yeah, and I felt like, I know, is it crazy? They love me. I really felt that. And then I held it for like maybe 3 minutes. I have some rocks here. Like, I have this golden healer and yellow citrine, I think it's called. And I didn't feel much at first, but then my hand started to vibrate, and I felt like there is a ball, very dense ball of energy, very dense. It's like almost like you're holding a basketball, but a smaller one. And yeah, I felt immediately, like, at this part of my body, like very present. Like, not dissociated at all. Like, I felt my hand, like, wow, they're here. Every cell of these hands is here right now, which is so cool. Absolutely beautiful.
Well, wonderful. That is so cool too about the seashells. You know, that
Yeah.
they gifted that to you, and yeah, they love you, and you get to take them with you and back home
Yeah.
until you go to Vietnam again.
Maybe I won't.
Okay. Well, I guess you don't need to. You have the seashells. Okay, beautiful. All right, anybody else want to share? I figure we'll all learn from each other. Well, while you all are thinking about if you're going to share or not, I'm going to share. So I recently went to Hot Springs, Arkansas, with a couple of my Reiki teacher friends, Karen Kag and Kathy Milanowski. So we went down there to dig and shop for crystals and go to the hot springs. And they're working on organizing another trip. So while we were there, they picked this beautiful quartz with rose tourmaline rock up, and you can see it's quite large. So I thought, okay, I'm going to hold that and meditate with it. And it said, hold me and give me Reiki every day. I will calm and ground you. I can help you fall asleep if you meditate with me before bed. And then I was feeling tingles and relaxation. It just felt like my shoulders were relaxing, and they've been kind of chronically tense because of all the hours of doing Reiki, you know, with my hands held out and then computer time. And then, and then this is kind of funny. You know, I have cataract surgery on my second eye next week. And it said that it could go with me to my cataract surgery. I'm sure the doctor would be very impressed. You know, that I brought my rock, you know, like, what am I going to do with it? Set it between my legs or something, you know, when I'm on the operating table. Maybe I will. I might have to get my nerve up to do that, because I'm just not quite sure what they're going to think about me and my rock. Okay, well, anybody else?
I'll share.
Okay.
I just went to my backyard. We've lived in this house for almost 2 years. And basically, before we had even unpacked our boxes, we had our very next door neighbor literally slammed the door in my face. So it's been a sad energetic between us. We had hired somebody to a landscaper to mutually, we have a drainage situation between our two houses. So before we moved in, we had mutually hired this landscaper to take care of it. And it's a lot better, but it wasn't really fixed. And instead of her going to the landscaper, she got mad at my husband and I. So it's weird. But anyway, literally she slammed the door in my face, and we haven't spoken for 2 years. So there's a lot of energetic there. And so I work on that energy between us, but we still have a drainage issue. So we still have patches of just mud out there and then a little bit of grass. So I just decided to go sit out there during our time tonight and just send Reiki to the earth in that area and just envision beautiful, lush grass. So instead of trying to put a barrier between us, maybe just put something beautiful and lush and green and abundant, you know, that we can share. And while I was there, there's a weird energetic between her dogs and all the neighbor dogs. And so all these dogs are barking, and there's mom yelling at a kid behind me. And so kind of what I got out of this whole thing was that, you know, we really can just drop into our own oasis at any moment, under any circumstances, with whatever the energies are going around us. And I thought it was interesting that one of you were sharing that you really felt like you became one with what you were sharing Reiki with. And I felt that with the ground. I felt like I really just became part of the earth for a little while all of this stuff was swirling around me. I just became part of it. And Karen, if you get up the nerve to take your rock with you, they might not think you're as crazy as you think, because I had major surgery about 7 years ago. And a friend of mine had said, have the surgeons read this couple of sentences before they start. So I went into my surgery with this slip of paper and I said, this is very important. I need you to read this out loud before you start my surgery.
Uh-huh.
He's like, okay.
Uh-huh.
So, I don't know. I feel like people are opening up to alternative ways of healing and just being in the world. And so, yeah, if you feel comfortable with it, I think you might be received more kindly than you think.
Yeah. Okay, well, I will meditate on that, see if I'm guided to take my new best friend here.
I love it. And obviously, if you don't really take her with you, she could still be with you in spirit, but
Yeah, well, they did kindly give me a very small version, so maybe I'll take the small version and
There
put
you
it in my
go.
pocket and
in your pocket, and nobody will know.
yeah, that would work. And Joe, you made a comment and you put a word in there that I don't know, something about pets are often bellicose if their owners are also. What is bellicose?
That's oh, wait a minute. That's aggressively annoying and not very friendly. You carry a very bad aura about you. It's that type of thing. Kind of like ready for a fight type of energy that a person might have.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
it's amazing. I've seen animals just pick up on what their owners are like too over the years.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have.
Yes. Well, we address all that in Animal Reiki energy, and that's why we have to have people Reiki before we do Animal Reiki, because you are also working with the caregivers, unless you're working with, zoo animals, or, even on a farm, you're working with, whoever owns the farm. So, well, Joe, is there anything you wanted to share about your experience?
Well, actually, you really, you messed with my aura very nicely. So at the beginning, so I was just kind of like still reveling in that for the whole time. I just did 4 piano lessons virtual. Okay. So I just sort of like used the energy to sort of unwind, and it was nice, the grounding. One of the things I find for those of you, and it's also in the Reiki manual for grounding in your feet and giving Reiki in the foot chakra, is Rama.
Mm-hmm.
Which the Karuna Assembly for the Karuna, I find it's very difficult. And whenever I have to do anything, if I give Reiki on a person's foot or something, I find Rama to be a very powerful symbol, a very useful one as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So thank you for the aura cleanse, Karen.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay. Well, Jennifer brought up something, when you were talking about the neighbors. So this is a prior experience that I did sending Reiki to the redbud tree that I wanted to read to you all from when I was in my Animal Reiki Master class. So the redbud tree, which sits right outside my front door, said, "I'm so grateful to be here by your door, welcoming deliveries, friends, and your students. I am the guardian of your house. I anchor the energy in your Reiki home and help students ground when they leave." Okay, because they do need grounding when they leave. "I love when you admire my beauty because it helps to relax you and bring you into the present moment. You notice my artistic branches through the seasons of life, sometimes barren, sometimes flowering, sometimes leafy, and sometimes dropping leaves. When you notice the cycles and appreciate each one, you become more in tune with the earth and all of life. All the trees on your land are connected to each other And together we form a grounding energy around your house, which the house needs because it often bursts forth with beams of light. Okay, that's from all the Reiki classes here and, you know, all the Reiki activity. And then this is the cool part that Jennifer, I thought kind of relates to your neighbor. We connect with your neighbor's trees and catch the beams in our branches and beam them out across the neighborhood. I thought, well, that's so cool. Who knew, you know, that the Reiki, the trees, of course, you know, you can kind of imagine they're all connected and then they're all sending out this great energy to all the other trees in the neighborhood. And the Reiki energy, you know, kind of, I was imagining comes out the top of the trees and then the other branches catch it and then they spread it around. So I like to have conversations with trees. I think I've gone beyond a tree hugger to a tree talker.
Karen, my red bud doesn't bloom here in the Northeast. The purple doesn't come out until May. Is yours already out down there?
Sure is. Yep. Kansas City, we've got spring. Okay. Well, anybody else want to share?
I'll share.
Okay.
I have a crepe myrtle that's right outside my door, and it hasn't started blooming yet, but it keeps me company when I'm working. It's really pretty. It has really pink flowers on it, so it's beautiful. So I sent some Reiki to her, and I have a blueberry bush out there that's struggling just a little bit, so I sent it some Reiki as well, along with all of my plants. I just took them back outside. It's unseasonably warm here in Texas, so but the wind started blowing while I was out there, and kind of similar, like she was saying, my hands were tingling, but it almost felt like they were waving at me as I was giving them Reiki, which was really nice. And there's cardinals and some wrens that live in the bush on the other side. So just seemed like, and clouds started to go by at the same time. So it just was kind of a nice breeze, and it just seemed like everything just kind of waved hello while I sent the Reiki. It felt really good, you know, just like we were having a moment.
Yes.
But yeah, it was just a good feeling, just kind of a tingling feeling, like we were all enjoying just kind of being at peace with each other for the moment. So that's it.
Wonderful. Well, I've thought that too, you know, when giving Reiki to plants, that they'll start kind of waving and
Right.
shaking, and you know, I'll point it out to my daughter and she just say, well, it's just the wind. It's like, okay, well, let me stop then. And then they stop moving and then Reiki them again. And
I was going to say with your rock, just tell them it's an emotional support rock, and they they might let you take it like they do pets. You never know, you know. They can't tell you it's not. So
don't tell my rock it's not an emotional support rock. That's funny. Get a pet rock. Okay. And Suzette, is it okay to share what you wrote?
Oh, sure, of course.
Okay. You said, I've always spoken to my plants since I've taken Reiki classes. I hear them speak to me. Some are quite chatty. Yeah. Like, do they ever say, hey, I need some water over here. Did you forget me? I'm dying of thirst.
Some of them really want me to put them when it rains. They're like, oh, we want to go outside and play in the rain. The ones in my bathroom, which is a beautiful, beautiful plant, they're very chatty now. And then I have some Farfugiums who said they were so happy that I took them out of the sun and placed them in a shady place. And they, every time I went outside, they were thanking me. And I finally went, enough, you know, that's enough. You've thanked me enough. That's too much. So really, they do. They're really quite chatty. I mean, it's funny because I'll tell people when we're out, I say, would you please water my plants? And they go, sure. And I said, but you have to talk to them too. And they're like, I'm not going to talk to your plants. And I'm like, well, that's too bad, because if you listen, they'll talk to you, they'll talk back.
That's
just-
right. Especially, if you admire their beauty, like, oh, you're so
Yes.
beautiful,
And you take good care of them.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So anybody else talk to your plants? Yeah. I mean, why not? It's fun. So many different ways to connect to nature. So, I just want to encourage you to, maybe every day, even just take 5 or 10 minutes to connect to nature in some way. I'm now going to be working with this rock since, it's asked me to, and it feels so good. And I kind of think maybe it can help me with my shoulders. I mean, Susan, I know you and I have really struggled with these, shoulder issues, tight muscles. And wow, if the rock can help me with that and save me a physical therapy session, that'd be pretty nice. So keep exploring. And speaking of rocks, next month, I've asked one of my Reiki students who healed his wife's foot and pain with rocks that were Reiki infused to come and speak to us about some of the different rocks that he's used, because you all have requested that. So if there's other topics that you all would like to hear about, let me know. And, I'll see who I know and invite them to come and talk on Reiki Call. Okay, well, I'm so glad that you all are here. It's wonderful to connect with you. And we are on Reiki Call at KarenHarrison.net. You can also find me on Spotify and Google Play and iTunes, the Reiki Call podcast. And join us the third Monday of the month at 7 Central. So we'll see you all next time.